Good afternoon, everybody. QuickSwap and ApeBond team, can you hear me?
Hey, loud and clear. How's it going?
Perfect, perfect. All right, let's start right away. It's my first time hosting a Twitter space, so excuse me up front, but let's make the best out of it. We are doing a series of Twitter spaces with partners and other projects that we love to learn more from you guys and to see how we can work even more closely in the future. So I want to start by intros. Maybe quick swap team. You can start by giving a brief introduction of who you are, what you do, and for everybody that does not know you yet.
Yeah, anyone that doesn't know what QuickSwap is, we can just remove from the space anyway. It's fine. Yeah, Darren here. Ecosystem at QuickSwap. Basically, QuickSwap is a DEX. Well, it just used to just be a DEX on the Polygon chain. For a little while, it was the number one DEX in the world. We actually had more daily volume and transactions than the whole of ETH mainnet at one point. But yeah, QuickSwap is just a plethora of just DeFi Lego blocks. So you can go there, you can make swaps, you can use perps, you can actually get ApeBonds directly through the QuickSwap UI. We've got a white label solution there. Web3 gaming hub, just a whole sort of like we call it the Dragonfly ecosystem, where you can just basically go and interact with all things DeFi without having to go and open up 13 different tabs on your on your Chrome account.
Amazing, and I agree. Everybody that does not know who you are should be removed. I think you are one of the most famous ones out there, and well, we're very happy to be a partner with you guys. So thanks for the intro. ApeBond, who are you?
Hey. So this is Pa, performance director here. And yeah, who we are? We're actually an on-chain OTC marketplace. And just to keep it super simple, super concise, I think we are the best way to raise funds with the partners' native tokens. So pretty much, you send your tokens, we put them in a bond. That bond, vests over time. The user gets to buy tokens at a discount. And that way, it's like a B2B to C kind of model here, because we deal with partners, of course, but in the end also end users. So the good thing for the end user, is that they get those tokens at a discount, those partner tokens, and the upside for the partners that they get to acquire, powerful, blue chips like BNB or Ethereum for those native tokens, or stable coins or LP tokens. So pretty much we're a bonding protocol. And as we like to say, the best way to raise funds with your native token. That's who we are.
Amazing. Thanks for the intros. Then we prepared a few questions for you. It won't take, don't think it will take more than 30 minutes. As it's our first time, we're all super nervous. So let's keep it short and simple and get the most out of it. I want to start with you, Abon team. How did the collaboration between you guys and with Carbify come about? How did it started, and what can you tell us about your side of our collaboration?
Sure. So it's a while back. I don't have the specifics of it. All I can say is that we have a tremendous Beast Dev team. They are most of them. They're in Thailand right now because of DevCon. So they're always conferencing. Going abroad and such. Always on calls. If you check those guys' calendars, that's absolutely insane. So yeah, I don't have the specifics. I know it's been a while since we first had the Obon with Carify. But yeah, all I can say is that it's a very thorough process. It's no easy thing to, hey, you just contact Avon and you instantly get a bond. We don't do, that's not how we deal, with partners, because in the end, although it's the partners kind of bond, it's our name on the line as well. So all I can say is that whatever partner you see that has, currently a live bond, is because there was a very thorough process for that. And how we end up with Carbify, that's a very good question. All I can say is that we like to keep an open mind. We like to really listen to the communities, and in the end, I think there was like a need for this carbon neutral kind of narrative. I think you guys are you guys found quite a niche in there, right? Because I haven't seen quite many, protocols completely associated, in a way with this carbon neutral kind of narrative. Of course, if you talk about GameFi or AI protocols and such, there are quite many more. But I think my point is that whenever we found Carbify, and it was like, wow, these guys are really doing something different, something unique, a very specific niche in the market, and really showcasing, the power of the blockchain. Pretty much, you can just have a protocol that aims to do something it's like bridging the real world with Web3 in a beautiful way. What you guys do in Carbify, that's my point. And yeah, after the thorough process, and after the beast devs, they really saw that you were for real. I think it just happened kind of naturally, And going back to my original point, we always have to listen to the communities, see what they want, Sometimes it's the AI narrative, sometimes it's something different, sometimes it's very chain specific. Like, our partnership with QuickSwap, we kind of felt like there was a need for, just going strong on Polygon. That's why we're so grateful to QuickSwap. They really helped us in that specific fashion. But yeah, I once again, freaking Darren, classic Darren. Anyways, I think how did the collaboration happen? Between ApeBond and Carbify. I don't have the specifics. All I know is that you guys are, the real deal, and our business knew that, and I think it just happened naturally. That's all I can say.
All right. Thank you very much. Quick swap from your side.
I'm going to be brutally honest and just say that I completely ADHD'd out and forgot the question. But while I'm here, everyone just like and retweet the space, leave a comment. It helps a lot. But yeah, what's the question?
The question was, how did our collaboration start? So I think it's been a while also, same as with ApeBonds, but I think our collaboration started even earlier. So, but what do you remember from it? How did it all start?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think I was just doing research into like RWA projects, and then found you guys. Just reached out in DMs, and you responded like scarily quick compared to the usual norm in DeFi, which is like a 1 to 3 week wait time, or just never. So that was like a massive green flag anyway. But obviously, you guys love green. Um, so so yeah, just reached out, and obviously just said they would love you guys on QuickSwap, and then I genuinely think that whole process took like 2 days. Like you guys definitely move quick.
I think so too. I think that's also a bit of our Dutch insight. We just like to do things and then finish it, and then we can move on to the
Yeah,
new
why not?
thing
Let's see
without
what happens. Yeah.
not have to wait for a few weeks. Yeah, we. I feel you. I feel the same in the Web3. Sometimes you get ignored for weeks, and sometimes it just feels right. You have an instant connection, like with you guys and with the Abon team, and then it all works out naturally. All right, thanks. Next question. We'll start with you guys, quick swap. What inspired you to pursue carbon neutrality? And well, second part of the question is, how did Carbify fit into that journey? But I think we all know that answer. But what inspired you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, DeFi, like we'll talk Bitcoin, say 2021. One of the largest sort of FUD pieces that people had on it was just the sort of the energy consumption of of Bitcoin. I think that's literally why Tesla said that they decided to just discontinue Bitcoin payments. Obviously, we came a lot from then. I was like, Bitcoin is still a massively energy intensive network. Polygon isn't quite as energy intensive, but still has somewhat of a footprint. Polygon does sort of look into the greener side of things. They did have a few partnerships early on as well, but yeah, I mean it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, everyone's looking for sustainability. Even ApeBond, some of the bonds actually help the projects just sustain themselves through through just OTC and tokens, so they've got treasuries. So yeah, I mean, everyone's naturally just always looking for long-term sustainability, so it makes sense that QuickSwap does the same. Obviously, it is just core contributors to QuickSwap. I think that you've looked at. QuickSwap is a DAO, so there are thousands, I think tens of thousands of token holders that contribute to the QuickSwap ecosystem.
Thank you very much. ApeBond.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You know, how does Carbify fit in that journey? Well, you guys know your carbon neutrality, or that's all I'm gonna say. So, whenever you have a partner that knows so much, it's like, you know, QuickSwap with their decks. You just shut up and you just let them do the work. You know, so that's how we feel about you guys at Carbify. You know your carbon neutrality. And just to add a minor point, you know, so Darren mentioned, you know, Tesla, and I think you cannot really separate, you know, like it's not like Web3 and crypto is this magic money kind of world, you know. I like to think about it like, you know, if you go with a Web2 company, you would always go with a sustainable one that tries to, you know, protect the environment, that's carbon neutral if possible. So I think that applies the very same to Web3. You know, it's not like, oh, these guys, you know, they're only on the blockchain. You know, from a business standpoint, it's the very same. You know, so if you would select a carbon neutral company for any Web2 kind of company, whatever the field may be, I think it's the very same in Web3. So if you're a user and you have, you know, two protocols offering the very same product, the very same service, you know, at the very same price, I think you would always choose the one that's carbon neutral. That's the way the world is moving towards, in my humble opinion. And yeah, it has a lot to do with our mission. We're all about uh, sustainability in the end. You know, we've been through the worst bear market. We made it through. You know, well, it's been almost 4 years in the space for us, so I think we've been through it all. And going back to my point, I think you gotta keep it sustainable, and carbon neutrality is, you know, keeping it sustainable. So yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I'm from Europe, and in here you see it every day in the news. It's about sustainability, carbon reduction, carbon compensation, and I think the time is now that people are waking up and realizing, okay, hey, but there is an option, and we can choose for different companies that can that sometimes they can offset things, or they are sustainable, and some are not. And now they have a choice to choose between these companies. All right, thanks. ApeBonds, is there any stories or milestones from the partnership that we have you feel proud of, or think listeners would find inspiring to hear?
I think it's, you know, you cannot fight the data, and you can simply it's like it's right there. You know, whenever we put a bond online and it starts selling like crazy, I think that's the biggest milestone, right? That's the biggest uh statement from the community of like, hey, we really care about this partner, we really needed this bond. And nothing can really fight that, you know, because I could come up with a bunch of stories, milestones, you know, from the partnership. You know, I think what Darren said was really true. You know, like it all kind of happened naturally and very fastly. So in Web3, you know, you get into these Telegram groups and it takes forever to come up with a proper partnership or a proper collaboration. But with you guys, it was quite simple. But in the end, what matters the most is just in our humble case, which is, you know, the bonds. It's what happened, what really happens with the bond, the bond itself. And with you guys, it was like crazy. You know, people love Carbify, the Carbify bond. It sold like crazy, and that's, I think that's the biggest milestone in the end.
Thanks. Quick swap. Or did you forget the question?
Yeah, you're gonna get used to ADHD.
What is
I was
your
panicking.
the story or milestone that you're proud of from our partnership that you feel the urge to share?
Yeah, I mean that will also I'll refer to the pin post in the jumbotron up there. So yeah, QuickSwap is obviously carbon neutral with Carbify. So I think we obviously communicated with you guys, got a rough estimate over how much obviously carbon QuickSwap and the contributors use. and then offset that. So obviously you guys have like a legit setup. I think I introduced you to a project recently, and I was like, these guys are actually like like a legit setup. It's not just like a random cowboy Web3 company that you find a lot of. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great step in the right direction. It's something that we should see a lot more of in the crypto space.
Thanks. That's a good bridge to my next question. Because how has going carbon neutral impacted your company's operation or public perception so far? And if you have not really um, implemented it yet, do you plan on utilizing it more in the future? And QuickSwap, you can start because you ended with it.
Yeah, and I remember the question. This is ideal. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously the perception on a lot of it. This is a lot of the time why Web2 companies deal with this. I'm sure you're obviously fully aware. So yeah, I mean, working with other companies that want to be carbon neutral or are carbon neutral, much better for optics, much better for the environment, much better just overall. It's definitely something that a lot of companies, just even in the Web2 space, but without looking at Web3, look at very actively. So having the sort of building blocks to enable that is um, ideal. And in the Web3 space and sort of the way that you guys do it, like NFT trees, etc. It sort of exemplifies the way that blockchain can just make something easier or better or uh, more accessible to the end user. Like usually just like buying trees isn't something that I could tell my gran about. But if I can just be like, okay, load up on some some Carbify tokens, go buy some trees, it's it's definitely much easier to translate to even just random retail users that want to contribute.
Yeah, and just a quick follow-up before ApeBonds will answer. But do you actively ask projects already if they committed to carbon neutrality, or do you maybe that's a future goal that giving them some kind of benefit or discount if they have committed to carbon neutrality? I think that is how we can make this snowball roll even faster.
That isn't personally something that I do like admittedly reach out about a lot. But it's definitely something I should keep in mind. I'll actually put that in my notes and speak to people about it. But yeah, I mean, anyone that we can sort of connect you to or anything along those lines, more than happy to.
Cool, thanks. ApeBonds.
Yeah, I think the impact and benefits, it's all associated, with the public perception of the protocol as a whole. It's just doing things right. It's not just, hey, let's make money, let's make as many bonds as possible. It's so much more than that. And I'll just have to go back to my example, right? You have a couple protocols, they offer the very same product, the very same service, whatever, for the very same price. I think in the end, you will always go with the one protocol that's more sustainable, that thinks about the planet, that thinks about their carbon emissions, so on and so forth. So, from a public perception standpoint, it made a tremendous impact. And if you want to be here in the Web3 space, for the long run, let's say, I think you need to think about these things. And just associating with you guys, partnering up with you guys, it made it just so much easier. It's I think once again we like to keep it super humble. We know what we do whenever it comes to bonds, but whenever we partner with, like, let's say QuickSwap, these guys, they really know their decks. So we just shut up and we follow. You guys, your carbon neutrality. So I think my point is that we're very grateful. That in the end, in this DeFi journey, we happen to just meet these super powerful partners that they really know what they're doing. And yeah, it's like your own personal brand in the end. It kind of grows, with whatever partners you are associating yourself with in the end. So I think going back to your question specifically, impacts and benefits, it's all about public perception. It's all about doing things right. It's all about thinking about the environment. And yeah, those things, I think people nowadays, 2024, they pay a lot of attention to that. So we have to do so as well.
Yeah, and
Before we jump to the next question, do you want to just like go into Carbify, like talk about what you guys do, just for anyone in the audience that isn't familiar with it?
Yeah, I can do that. But I really want this space to be about you guys and about the partnership. But I can give a brief 2-minute pitch about Carbify for everybody that does not know what we do. We
Alsjeblieft.
what?
Alsjeblieft. That's how you
Yeah,
say
yeah,
in
very
Dutch,
good.
right?
Yeah, you know some Dutch words. Yeah, it's also not very common that I do this, hosting this. So normally we have a native English speaker doing this. So sorry for my thick English Dutch accent between the English, but
I've
um,
got a Scottish accent. I get just as much grief.
but as Carbify, we have developed world's first certified carbon debit, and we help companies, projects, Web3 protocols to achieve carbon compensation. And what makes it very unique is that we utilize blockchain technology from the start. So when we plant a tree, we have the geolocation in the metadata, and the CO2 the tree is absorbing. It's again on chain. And then when companies are creating a carbon reduction certificate, it's again on chain. And that did not exist, so we could not use the standard ERC20 tokens. So they are all NFTs talking with each other, which offers the possibility to have a portal where you can see the actual tree that was absorbing the CO2 for your carbon reduction certificate back to the kilo of CO2. So if you compensated 1 ton of CO2, it is possible that 1,000 different trees have contributed to that single carbon reduction certificate. We focused a bit more in the beginning on the Web3 projects, and we will focus again a bit more on Web3. But we are, of course, constantly targeting traditional companies, which makes us a bit of an odd duck in this whole space, that we are a blockchain company with a focus on traditional B2B, but also on the Web3 side. And we love being the odd duck, so that's a good thing. It also means that we can help many different projects and protocols out there. That's quick 2 minutes about Carbify. 3 more questions. First, for ApeBonds, what benefits do you see for companies in the blockchain or the DeFi space that are prioritizing sustainability?
Well, I think we kind of, again, I want to keep it humble, but I think we kind of know quite a bit in, in this particular regard. Yeah, whenever you prioritize sustainability, you can face whatever market conditions might be, in the specific moment. Like, for example, we started DeFi summer 2021. Things were looking great, but we we know that wasn't the same in 2022, 2023. So going back to your question, whenever you prioritize sustainability, specifically, in the liquidity kind of side of things, I think you're gonna overcome whatever challenges the market might throw at you. That's first and foremost. And once again, specifically associated, with like sustainable DeFi, having a sustainable treasury, so on and so forth, because that's what we know, with the bonds product. But I think sustainability can be, considered from a much broader perspective, and that's where you guys, at Carify really make an impact. I think it's just the way things go, because Web3, it's such an explosive kind of space, and you can be in the space for like a couple months, and that's it. You can make money, you can have a minor impact, but it all feels like it's a little too sudden, a little too, that it doesn't last in Web3. And I think here, whether it's, Clarify, Avon, QuickSwap, whatever, I think we know about sustainability, we know about its importance, and in the end, if you think, that Web3 is really going to last forever, and it's only getting better and better and broader, and it's only going to have more adoption, more people coming in, more money coming to the space, I think you have to think about sustainability. You have to prioritize sustainability, whether it's, carbon neutrality, sustainable treasury, whatever it is, sustainability in whatever aspect, you have to go for it. And what benefits? I mean, I think the question could be what disadvantages, because there are really none. I don't see any disadvantages. I think it's not a matter of benefits or disadvantages. It's a matter that you have to keep it sustainable. There's no other way, because we see BTC at 95K nowadays, and we're all like, wow, we're super happy. But in the end, we need to be alert. We need to think about the next bear market. It's going to happen. We don't really know when. That's not the question. But all I can say, going back to my point, is that bull markets, they don't last forever. You need to be alert. You need to keep it sustainable. So I think it's a very important question. What benefits you get by just becoming sustainable. It's so many benefits that you just have to keep it sustainable. That's the answer.
All right, thank you. Darren, you want me to state it
No,
again?
no,
Or?
I remember this time. I just wrote it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, obviously, ApeBond stole all the good answers. But yeah, I mean, it hit the nail on the head. Like when you talk about sustainability, you talk about like a long term vision. You don't talk about like getting your friends in to buy a meme coin, then they leave the space in 2 months after they've made 100x. You're talking about long term here. Like obviously, carbon emissions don't just get offset like right away. You need to plant the trees. You need the trees to grow. You need to actually have stuff happen. So yeah, I mean, even yeah, with the reference to ApeBond, they're effectively doing that for projects. They're allowing projects to OTC their tokens to their community, get either additional liquidity back, or just diversify their treasury so that the projects have runway. We've seen a lot of like GameFi tokens that didn't actually have a game yet. um, Obviously, like launched the tokens years ago. And then they sort of just run out of funds eventually because a lot of the projects in Web3 are effectively startups. Let's be honest, and it's like a really really easy way to bootstrap your startup by just launching a token. And not a lot of the time do they attribute a revenue model to said token or project. That does seem to be a small issue in Web3. So actually having a way to make your project monetized and generate revenue is obviously something that's massively important. And then, yeah, back to the sustainability, you want to obviously have a long term vision here. You don't want to just be a pie in the sky, just fad for 2 months. You want to be here long term. So making sure that you've cemented, obviously, your liquidity, offset your carbon footprint, and just generally have a long term vision to make your protocol succeed is the way forward.
Yeah, I think I have to fully agree with that. That's also why when we started the whole Carbify, we focused more on foundation, having the tech ready, and now focusing on the right project or the right parts of the company, and then the rest will follow. And it takes time, and we're not used to that in the crypto space. Everything normally moves super fast, but we are here for the long term and not to be like a meme coin that is gone in 6 weeks. Last question. Are there any upcoming initiatives, projects, or goals related to your own project that you want to share? QuickSwap, you can start. Not related to Carbify, but just QuickSwap in general. What's coming up? What are the cool things that we need to know?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, we got a lot of stuff cooking. Obviously, QuickSwap is experimenting currently with the tokenomics. So QuickSwap generates a lot of revenue through just use of the DEX, use of the perpetual exchange, use of just the overall ecosystem. What we've done with that since launch was governance effectively decided that we would buy back Quick tokens and distribute that to people that stake Quick. Now we're actually burning stuff, so Carbify might hate this, but yeah, we whenever there's some revenue generated from QuickSwap, we just buy back Quick tokens and send them to the burn address. So yeah, no carbon there. We're all good. Um, but yeah, so that
I
we're
see
doing some.
potential.
I think we've burned potentially 0.5% of the supply in just over a month or two, which is Nice. But yeah, so we just launched our liquidity hub and perps on Ethereum. So a lot of people don't know, but even QuickSwap on Polygon is technically an aggregator. So if you make a swap on QuickSwap, we've got like an intent-based solver system with like Dutch auctions that effectively just try find you a better trade elsewhere and then offer it to you. So you can say no and you can just use the DEX contracts. But otherwise, if there is a really good trade elsewhere, we'll just send that trade out and make sure that you get the best trade. So yeah, QuickSwap is effectively an aggregator. So what we've done is we've deployed that on Ethereum. So there isn't DEX contracts, there isn't like liquidity pools, etc. We're just using all the other liquidity sources as liquidity sources. So if you try and make a trade on QuickSwap, obviously no front end fee, and we just get you the best trade through the whole ecosystem. I actually think we use different aggregators as solvers. So instead of just using an individual aggregator, we're aggregating the aggregators. So yeah, I mean, obviously really good trades on ETH, Polygon. I think Polygon's ZKVM as well. And yeah, lots of stuff coming. I think we're going to be deploying on Sony Chain when that's at mainnet. And there's probably a list as long as my arm that I could go through, so I'll stop there.
Well, it sounds amazing. Thanks for sharing that. And ApeBond?
Sure. So yeah, upcoming initiatives, projects, or goals related to sustainability. I think in the end, what we want is more projects to just launch bonds with us, just like Carbify. We have just made it to 186 bonds partners now. We're almost close to the 20 million in total bonded value. So that's going to be a big milestone for us very soon. We are in 8 different chains right now. So, I think the bond pro keeps getting better and better. And communities, they are really starting to know what we do in A bond, which in the end is nothing crazy, right? We just do bonds. It's a very specific pro, a very specific niche. I think in the end, what we want, going back to your question, is just more, maybe more Carbify bonds to keep it sustainable. More projects like Carbify, that's really going to help. And in the end, what you guys are doing is just massive. You guys are showcasing that Web3 is so much more than just money, so much more than, hey, Bitcoin is at 97K right now. Do you want to buy or sell Bitcoin? So much more than that. I think we want to showcase the power of the blockchain and the different use cases that it has. And what you guys do at Carbify is just insane. So our initiatives, in the end, they will always be associated with the Bonds Pro. It's what we know, it's what we do. Hopefully, we can get to onboard, similar projects like Carbify, for example, to really launch bonds with us. That's an initiative towards sustainability for the planet, for carbon neutrality. Because of course, we have a lot of these 186 partners. They are, many of them associated with GameFi or the AI narrative or infrastructure solutions, for example. But it feels like the whole environmental side of Web3 is still a little green. It's still a little uncharted, so to speak. So yeah, hopefully more projects just like Carbify, more Carbify bonds. I feel like the community is really asking for it. So yeah, that's what we have. That's one of our main goals. Getting closer and closer to the 20 million in total bond value, getting closer to the 200 total bonds partners. So yeah.
Nice. I like the little green bird joke, so I was laughing about it. So the market was a little green. Oh, good. That was the end of this Twitter space, it's called. So thank you very much, guys, for listening in and giving your insights. And I think to finish it off with, we are very proud of the partnerships that we have with you, and we don't talk as much as we should, because I think these kinds of partnerships are the most valuable in the whole Web3 space. So we'll sure to catch up on that. Enjoy the days wherever you are, and thank you very much for listening in, and see you next time.
Dankjewel. Have a good one.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.